Pranams to Sri Ramakrishna. Greetings to all of you. Today we have the second part of the story, The Root of All Troubles, where we are going to concentrate on the value which we learn. That value is the ability to give up desires. There is a saying, desire is the cause of all suffering. The great realized soul Gautama Buddha stressed on this idea, because human desire sometimes becomes endless. We saw in the last part the story which Sri Ramakrishna has told about this. The bird picks up a fish and the other birds don't allow it to have peace, till the fish falls from the bird's beak, and then the bird gets a lot of peace, it gets rest. So first we will look at the rest of the story, because I stopped the story only where the action was taking place. Now we have to look at that part of the story where the kite, the bird with the fish, that was the kite, learns a lesson from this action, that is losing the fish. The fish falls off, it has no food, but it learns a valuable lesson. And then what conclusion Sri Ramakrishna gives to this story, that also we need to see. Again, for those who might not have the story with you, I'm showing you the rest of the story on screen sharing. And once you read the two parts of the story, then you will have the entire picture. I'm not showing the previous screen today. I'm only showing you the rest of the story. So that point stopped where, the kite lost the fish, the crow stopped following it. Now the kite, thus relieved of its worry. The kite was in confusion, we were told. It was very worried. Thus relieved, now there is relief from the worry. The kite sat on the branch of a tree and thought. Now look at the kite. This is the moral which the kite is able to understand from its own action, from its own experience. See how Sri Ramakrishna is telling us that our own experiences teach us so much. So what does the kite think? That wretched fish was the root of all my troubles. The story, the name of the story, the root of all troubles. So what was the root of all troubles? The wretched fish, the terrible fish, the fish which was actually, I thought the fish was so wonderful. It was a food which I would love to eat, but actually it was a terrible problem for me. It was a great trouble for me. I have now got rid of it, and therefore I am at peace. Here, of course, inverted commas should end. I forgot to put them, but you can put them. Try to find wherever there is a mistake, that is the best learning experience. So I have now got rid of it. It here means the fish. The kite is saying, after getting rid of the fish, I'm at peace. I have found peace. We are all looking for peace. So Sri Ramakrishna tells us, as long as we have the wretched fish, this is a beautiful metaphor, then we do not have peace. The fish is trouble. So the conclusion is, as long as a man has the fish, the human being, man here does not mean gender, it means the entire humanity, not only men, but also women, all children, everybody. That means the fish. What does the fish mean? Worldly desires. So there is a comparison. You can see Sri Ramakrishna making the comparison. Fish stands for worldly desire. So all of us seem to have constant desire for something. A person who has one house wants 10 houses. Now, can you live in 10 houses? You have only one body. You don't have 10 bodies which can go and live in 10 houses. A man has one car, that person wants more. We have a lot of money, we want more. We have a lot of food, we want more. In this way, we are constantly causing problems. All of us know that, almost all the serious illnesses, the life-threatening illnesses today are called lifestyle diseases. Lifestyle means you have too much, that is why you have a disease. Either you indulge too much, you eat too much, and then you have all these diseases. Immoral behavior, so many diseases, so many illnesses are caused because of immorality, behavior which is wrong. All this does not give you peace of mind. So the fish is compared to all desires. He must perform actions. He is the human being represented by the kite who had the fish. So as long as the kite has the fish, it has no peace. As long as the human being has desires, it does not have peace because it has to keep flying around. You remember? The kite was flying to the north, to the south, to the east, to the west. But no peace, only confusion. So we are running after desires. The desires are like the crows which are chasing us, and we are running. Everybody is after our lives, worries, anxiety, etc. And consequently, as a result, we suffer from worry, anxiety, restlessness. So these are all the things which are chasing us. The fish is desire, the actions are flying here and there, and the crows are the worry and anxiety and restlessness. So see how comparison, Sri Ramakrishna gives a comparison for all this. Then no sooner does he renounce these. Renounce is to give up. Renounce is to say, okay, I do not want to have this desire, to give up, to go beyond these desires. What should you renounce? You should renounce these desires. Then his activities fall away. He doesn't have to run away. Look at the kite, it goes and sits on the tree and it says, okay, I'm at peace now. That is relieved. The kite sat on the branch of the tree. So we can sit quietly. We don't have to escape from all our problems, escape from all our troubles. These are all the troubles. Worry, anxiety, restlessness, these are the troubles. So the root of the trouble is the fish, and that fish is the desire. So the troubles are what we have, our mental unrest. His activities fall away and he enjoys peace of soul. So to get real peace, Sri Ramakrishna is teaching us by using the story of the kite. Now look at our own experiences. One is to read the second part of the story clearly. I'll read it quickly. Thus relieved of its worries, the kite sat on the branch of a tree and thought, that wretched fish was the root of all my troubles. I have now got rid of it, and therefore I am at peace. As long as a man has the fish, that is worldly desires, he must perform actions and consequently suffer from worry, anxiety, and restlessness. No sooner does he renounce these desires than his activities fall away and he enjoys peace of soul. So this is very beautifully expressed. Now look at our own experiences of worry. A small child, is playing with the toy. The child has a constant desire, a newer toy, a newer toy. We don't have time for the child, so we give a lot of toys because that is easy to buy in the market. Time you can't buy, love you can't buy. You can't buy, all these things. But toys you can buy, so you buy the toys and give to the child. The child's desires increase. It wants more and more toys. And then if the toy is lost, if you tell the child, give the toy to another child, the child refuses, gets anxiety, gets worry, gets sorrow, unhappiness, hurt. The child starts crying. The child is made to give something. That hurt remains lifelong. It becomes a psychological barrier that, something was taken away from me. So desire causes a lot of sorrow, suffering, not only at that moment, but as a lifelong problem. The child becomes selfish by saying everything I want from my own. Then the child goes to school. Again, we teach the child to desire. We say, compete with everybody. You have to have the best marks, the best dress, the best achievements, the best of everything. Now, all children are not of the same caliber. All children have some talent, but they don't have the same talent. So we are creating in their mind desires which might not be fulfilled because they might not have the capability of attaining that desire. Desires make them lose their balance. They become passionate. And therefore, I have stopped sharing the screen. I hope everybody has now got the story. I'm just trying to relate the story to our life and to our desires. So the child is taught, to always think of desires. If the child is intelligent, if the child is capable, to tell the child to improve is not a mistake. But to punish the child because the child is not getting the first mark, to scold the child because the child is not able to get all the achievements which you expect from the child, is very demotivating. It becomes a lifelong handicap for the child. So we have to remember that we are teaching the children to foster desires. We are telling the children that have more and more desire. These are also desires. Have we ever cultivated in the child the habit of desiring to be good, desiring to be honest, desiring to tell the truth always, never to compromise on honesty and integrity? Are we really telling the child all this? We need to understand how we are training the child. So later in life, if people have endless desires, we cannot blame them because in the childhood, we have laid the foundation for these desires. Then another thing which the child has, remember the story, the fishermen were catching fish and the kite went and snatched it away. Somebody has something which the child does not have, it cannot afford. I find, many poor children telling their parents who are really very poor that I want to celebrate my birthday like they do in the movies. You see, in the movies, hundreds of guests are called, a huge cake is made, and you have, hundreds of gifts the child gets, games and food and, wonderful clothes, the best dress in the market, and so on. Are we not training the child, cultivating the child to have desires by not teaching them non-covetousness? Don't look at others' things and desire them. Be happy with what you have. This is a value which Sri Ramakrishna is teaching us. Through his story, he's telling us that any kind of desire is a suffering for us. We suffer, we become confused. We have to keep running around if we have a desire. So are we ever teaching our children this? Are we ever telling our children that, don't desire what you don't have? Learn to be happy, learn to be at peace with whatever you have. You don't have enough material things today, you don't have money today. Study hard, work hard. A time will come when you will have enough of everything. By self effort, not by snatching. I'm using the idea from the story. The kite went and swooped, the kite snatched. We are not teaching our children to swoop or to snatch. We are teaching our children to have peace inside. So the kite's mindset, that is what Sri Ramakrishna is telling at the end of the story. The kite thought. So it is our mindset which makes us desire or desire less. We have a saying that sometimes what is desired is not desirable. We might desire something which is not good for us. So that we have to remember, that whatever we get is good. Whatever we don't get might not be good for us. So we don't get it. We don't feel a sense of deprivation. We don't feel God has been kind to my friend. My friend has a house. My friend has so many things I do not have. We should never feel that sense of deprivation. We should feel that I have what I deserve. Let me make myself better so that I deserve more. I will be able to get more if I deserve more. And to deserve it, I have to be a better person. I have to start thinking better thoughts, cultivate better habits, better values. Now the child grows up, goes to, then marks are there. Examination marks, which I forgot to mention. These are endless desires. The child doesn't want to work hard, but expects a lot of marks. Quarrels with the teachers in colleges by saying, I want more marks. Look at my answer. Look at my friend's answer. Why did you give the friend more marks than me? Getting things by using muscle power. I have to get a seat because I'm a great political leader. I'm the leader of students. These things are happening all the time. Desire. The desire does not it does not coincide with your capability. So we have to learn this. If we try to desire something which we do not deserve, then the whole world will be after us. Suppose you have got the highest marks by cheating, by doing something wrong. Every student will be after your life. Every person in the college will say bad things about you. They will torture you. You will be more worried because you have a guilty conscience that I don't deserve the marks which I got. So you can imagine the crows of worry, the crows of guilt, the crows of anxiety, the crows of fear. These are all following you around. So lifelong, you will remember that in the college exam, you cheated and you passed. You will never get peace lifelong because you're not able to leave that desire. Time is finished. Therefore, to teach our children to be without this kind of negative passions is very important. Then I was telling you about the child who's now educated and looking for a job. Desire, endless desire in the job. You see how universities, colleges, higher education institutions advertise themselves. What do they say? They say, our students get huge pay packages. Somebody gets, 20 lakhs, somebody gets 1 crore. Now, money is only a figure. It doesn't have anything which is meaningful. After a point, money does not help anybody. You must remember, up to a point, we need money. If you are poor, you need sufficient money to live a dignified, respectable life. But if you are rich, you don't need any more money. But don't we have endless desire for money? He says, why do you want to work? Not because I want to do something productive, but I want to earn money. Today in India, we are saying, make in India. So we want youngsters to become entrepreneurs. They should not look for a job, but they should generate jobs for others. They should give jobs to others. So when you ask youngsters, why do you want to become an entrepreneur? Many times the answer comes, because I want to become rich quickly. That is not the aim of entrepreneurship. It is not your personal desires. What you require is a selflessness, a seva bhava, a desire to serve others. I want to become an entrepreneur because I want my nation to come up. I want the people in my country to work for me so that they have livelihood. Not my desires, but fulfilling the desires of others. You know, giving up the fish. The fish has fallen. So the crows have gone after the fish. They have not come after the kite. See how nicely the story at every point parallels our life experiences. So when you go for an interview, you don't go with the feeling that I want to serve this country. I want to serve this organization. You go with the feeling, what will I get? That is a desire. And therefore, you will have a lot of anxiety. People tell me that they get so nervous in an interview that they cannot speak in an interview. They come out, they say, we didn't get the job because we were so nervous. Now, nervousness is one of the crows. Why are you getting nervous? Because of your desires. Go to the interview room renouncing your desires. Sri Ramakrishna is telling us the word renounce. So if you renounce, if you give up the desire for whatever gain you, personal selfish gain, which you're planning, then you will not have any anxiety. You will go with a free mind to the interview room and you will find that you're performing well. Then job promotions. Again, endless desire. Somebody else got the promotion which we deserved. Causes a lot of pain, causes a lot of sorrow. Remember that after 30, 40 years, you will not have this job at all. Then what is the use of that promotion unless it makes you perform better? If you cannot get a promotion, you perform in such a way that you deserve the promotion. So get rid of the desire. Instead, have peace of mind. Like the kite sitting on the branch and saying, oh, the fish was the cause. Now I have peace of mind. I might be a little hungry, but I have peace of mind. See how wisdom comes to this bird? That wisdom we have to, Sri Ramakrishna is giving us that value, that desirelessness is the wisdom you have to have. In family life, you see how many quarrels are because of desires. Property is a huge area of conflict in the family. Desire. Now, what will you do with the property? I remember in a quarrel of a brother and sister, I'm sure I might have shared this with many of you. I told the elder brother that she's your younger sister. Why don't you give up your share also to her instead of quarreling? The brother stopped talking to me. I told the sister, your brother doesn't have enough resources. Your brother needs the money. So why don't you divide it equally or give your share, part of your share to the brother? The sister also stopped talking to me. So you can imagine desire to cheat each other, desire to deprive each other, loving brothers and sisters who grew up together, who were born in the same family of the same parents, endlessly conflict, desire all the time, wanting something from others in the family. We say love is measurable in the behavior of the people. You know, if you give me good food, then I love you. Now, is it some kind of business or is it only your desire? So I love eating. Therefore, if you feed me well, I love you. I want lots of things, lots of jewels and clothes. If you buy me, I'm very happy. I will love you. If you take me to new places every day because I love traveling, I love you. If you give me whatever I want, whatever I desire, only then I will look after you. These are the problems in our personal life also. So, like the fisherman catching fish, the material world is full of desires. Endless desires are possible because all around us there are desires. You go to a big city, you go to a mall, you go to a supermarket, you look at the eyes of the people, you find in them total greed. You know, the eyes are full of greed because they don't know what all to buy. There is so much to buy. They have a lot of money also to buy it with, but they don't need it. Should we not buy what we need? I have mentioned earlier in, our earlier series, need and greed. That is what this story is telling us. You have only what you require. You don't have something which the others are also desiring. Those others will now come and trouble you. They will try to take it away from you. So limiting our desires, keeping our desires within ourselves, we become better and better. There's a story, that even at the moment of death, a person doesn't get rid of desires because these desires make you very cautious. The dying person says that, don't put the light so high. Don't put the wick of the lamp so high. You're burning a lot of oil. Put the wick small so that less oil is consumed. What is the desire? The desire to be, to hoard money, the desire not to spend. You must remember in society that unless we circulate everything, society doesn't function. If you keep hoarding what you have, whether it is your energy within your body or whether it is bank balance, unless you spend it, it doesn't benefit anybody. So whatever we have with ourselves, if we give it to others, that is renouncing desires. Unless we are unselfish, unless we are willing to give up whatever we have, unless we don't have the passion to acquire more and more, to get to yourself, I want, I want, I want. And desire is not only for material things, desire is also for name and fame, for praise, for a good position in an organization or in a society. These are also desires. If somebody tells you you are good, you feel very happy. That also is a desire. If somebody says you are useless, you feel very angry. Again, desire. So he says, as long as you have desire, you have to go on doing action. So you say, I will take revenge because that person has said something bad to me. In this way, we find that whenever we are talking about desire, the memory of Sri Ramakrishna's story comes in front of us. So what do we desire? To be able to desire any of these concrete things like the fish, the embodiment of the fish, all these are negative desires because the kite took the fish away from the fisherman. The kite did not earn the fish. And then the fish fell down. The desire was fulfilled, but it could not be retained. Like that, many of our desires might not be legitimate desires. They might not be desires which we should have at all. So if periodically we think of the story, we remember the kite, what the kite did from the beginning to the end. It started by snatching a fish. It became terribly worried and very upset because of the crows. Then it thought that by losing the fish, I have got peace of mind. So we have to do the same thing to ourselves. Whenever we are losing our peace of mind, we have to think of the kite. Understand, sit in a quiet place, the kite sat on the branch of the tree. So we also sit quietly in one place, relaxing, no desire worrying us, no fish in our beak. And then we start thinking by saying that, okay, if I lose this desire, if I renounce that desire, I will get peace of mind. What is the secret of peace? Many people today are trying for happiness. There are special happiness courses, happiness workshops. But remember, happiness is transitory. Today you're happy, tomorrow you're not. But peace is permanent. In the Christian hymn, we say, the peace that passes understanding. We don't even understand what is this peace. We say at the end of our mantras, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. What are we saying? The peace, peace, and peace. We are trying to invoke peace. So happiness is not so precious as peace. Sri Ramakrishna is telling us how the bird realizes peace by sitting quietly, renouncing all desires. So put yourself in the character of this bird. For every experience, we have only one experience of the bird. Next day, the bird might again go and do it. Like that, every day, desires rise in our mind, and these desires cause us sorrow. So to get peace, we have to know our desires. We have to see how we can get rid of these desires. We have to stop running after these desires, like flying, the kite was flying, and then enjoy the peace which we earn. The result, the reward of this renunciation is peace. So this beautiful story gives a wonderful lesson to us. I hope both the parts of the story you will integrate. Use 2 parts for learning the language, use 2 parts for learning the values and practicing the values. Whenever I read these stories after, having read them for the last maybe 40, 50 years, I still find something new. I still enjoy them. I still find that they can teach us wonderful lessons. So I leave you to contemplate like the kite, think about it, and then learn from it and enjoy peace. Namaste, and thanks for watching.